So my talk today is about animation with GSAP. How the Sam already said is a green stack animation platform. So let's go into it. So short summary about me. So my name is Sighton. I'm a web developer for like 4 years. Pet site, I have 2 ducks. And funny fact about me, I'm scared of C because I don't know C. So agenda for the talk, we will go through what is GCP is, why to use GCP, what is CSS animation missing compared to like JavaScript animation, GCP versus CSS animation, like slight demo of that. And I want to attach like 2 plugins. GCP has way more plugins, but it's kind of like 2 I want to talk about it and doesn't really take so much time. It's a scroll trigger plugin and draggable plugin. For all these 3 points, we'll have a demo. And I will show you showcases of GCP websites which use GCP. So what you can see, like what it's working like in a real world, in a like advertisement and marketing. We will go license of GCP because the license is a bit tricky and not really normal like every other libraries is, because GCP is partially paid. And on a big, in the end, we'll just do a small Q&A section if we'll have time for it. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so what GCP is? The Green Stack animation platform was founded in 2000, 24 years ago, by Jack Doyle, an award-winning artist who became a code-focused developer. GCP is a JavaScript animation library that allows developers to create high-performance animations that will work in all major browsers. It used on over 11 million websites, including many award-winning ones, and considered the industry standard. Google also recommends GCP for JavaScript animations. All right. So let's go to the next one. So why to use GCP? So number 1 reason is a performance, high performance animation with blender rendering. Technically, if you will do CSS for simple animation, CSS will be faster. But if you'll do like really complex CSS animation, you will start to have like frame rate will start to drop down. And they handle that like, okay, it's not will work, so let's figure it out. And they have a way much better performance if you will like face to pretty complex animation, and CSS will not handle for you that. So another point is the ease of use, simply syntax and flexibility. It's they don't have a like crazy syntax, and it's honestly really quick to start with that. Compatibility with other libraries and frameworks. Great documentation. They have awesome documentation. They have a lot of video tutorials. Because they've been, I believe, 24 years here. They do cover a lot of cases, so I don't think you don't find something which documentation covered. Features, rich set of features like timelines, easing functions, and more. The plugins, they have a really rich plugins ecosystem. They have like 20 plugins. Cross-browser compatibility. So the animation works in all browsers, so you don't really worry about version and stuff. It will just work. So you don't worry about like your animation will break on some website or something like that. Somebody open like in I don't know, like Safari, it will not work. It will work. So that's what's great. So another thing, what is CSS animation is missing? So number 1 is the timeline management. The CSS doesn't really have the things like a timeline. So it's kind of like you can like pause, stop, reverse your animation if you need it. And CSS doesn't really have that. Complex transformations. The complex transformation is when you want to use like transform property like so many times. And it's really hard to manage into doing JavaScript if you want to, for example, do like 10, 20 transformations, use transform property like in one element. It will be really hard for you to deal with that. Interactivity and dynamic control. Performance optimization, we already talked about that. Cross-browser consistency. You can animate 3D animations, and CSS you cannot able to do that. SVG animation. You can technically do SVG animation in CSS, but super basic stuff. If you need like more like than basic, you will not able to do that. WebGL animation, they cover that too. And advanced easing functions. In CSS, you can create custom function, but with a cubic asire, I believe is a function calls, and you only have 4 points. You can't do more than 4 points. And you don't have a like like advanced one, when you need like 20 points. What if you need to do animation for bouncing element? This will be covered way more for points. It will cover like 20, 30 points. So you will not have this in CSS. So another thing, let's talk about more plugins. So just GSAP has 9 plugins in the free tier. They have a flip, scroll to, eCell, scroll trigger, draggable, pixie, observer, motion pass, and text. We will cover today like slight examples of scroll trigger and draggable. Let's do like small demo right now. So GCP versus CSS animation. All right. Is that, let me see if I can do full screen maybe. Can I do? Can you see it? Is it fine for you? Like this? Yes. Okay. Yeah, let's cover this a little bit because we don't really need HTML here. We need like a little bit CSS and JavaScript. So as you can see that, I will just like reframe with like a little bit real quick, reload the frame. So you see animation of this, it's like really close to that. But this is CSS how we can see it, how they handle it, like translate and X and rotate it. The another part is here is the GCP. Maybe I will probably zoom in, try it. Is that better? Okay, cool. So no. Say F11? Yeah. No. Here we go, FN. Awesome. Perfect. So, what's the weakness of this? For example, you have animation, right? You can only do duration in CSS, like a full animation itself, like 5 seconds. What, for example, I want to do here, like I want to be this first step as quick as possible. I want this duration like fast. I don't want it to be 1 second. I want it to be like 0.2 seconds. So in GCP, you can do that because you have a duration property on this one specific animation. So you can do 1.2 seconds. And I save it. And you see it goes way too fast right now. But another animation remains the same. Let me move this a little bit. And another thing what you can do, for example, like here, right? Like first step, I want to delay something. But in CSS, you can't really do that. If I will do delay, and I'll do, let's wait like 2 seconds, right? We save it. It does. It's wait. It doesn't go immediately because we put a delay, right? So if you reload like this, it doesn't go to 2 seconds, and it go after that. So you don't have that things in CSS. CSS doesn't really do that for you. And another thing you need to do, I don't know what the reason specifically why, but you need to call it translate X or something, because if I will not do have a translate here, if you're moving like by X and Y property, the element, if I save it, you'll see what's happened right now. It just go anywhere. But in here, like if you see the second animation, right, I don't have X property here, so I don't really care. So it really care, like, okay, this is the step of animation, and what I do specifically is that step. Like when CSS is like worried about the whole, and it's like only 3 like properties here. Imagine like, I don't know, like I will have a like transform with so many like values inside. Like I don't know, like for example, I will have translate X, Y, rotate, scale, and do that like multiple times, and maybe it will be even more, maybe it will be 10. It will be a nightmare. You will not able to manage that. So here it will be way easier and smoother, and it's way less code than CSS, and it's like you can kind of like nicer control over your animation. All right, so let's go next one. What I'm really excited about is let's go to draggable demo. So this is a draggable demo. It's actually from draggable demo from GSAP themselves. So this is how you set up right there. So you just register plugins. It's a draggable inertia plugin. You do draggable, create. This is this one element, and you do create this one. Is this flare and this one. So if I use this one, it will just go only by X axis because I put the type X. This one will rotate, but it will rotate with inertia. So because if I rotate and I do it, it will start spinning, keep spinning because its inertia is on. And this one will just go like free bounce. And for example, I don't want to like druggable X, right? I want just Y, for example. And I just save it. And now it will be only Y axis. And you, for example, I don't want an inertia plugin. You know, I don't really want an inertia. So let's kill this inertia. We don't really interested in inertia right now anymore. I don't want the inertia. I'm like, I want to be without inertia. And we save it. And now I think I need just to update again. Let's reload the frame. And now you see is when it's draggle, it doesn't do inertia anymore. It doesn't have a weight to it. So yeah, and this is super simple. If you will try to do this with like yourself with CSS and JavaScript and HTML from scratch, it will take you a lot of time to do something even close to that. All right, let's go. Yes?
What is the, can you talk a little bit more about the balances and why is, and for container, I'm assuming you have to talk about the class container in this stage of the balance. Yeah, I just wanted to know a little more about what.
Oh yeah. So like, let's see if you want to see the CSS. I will put the links too, so you can guys go and look and demo more and stuff. So yeah, I will keep it like all the links later. Yeah. Okay, so let's go to the next one. And another one is a scroll trigger plugin, which I really like to use it because it's pretty handy. So the way what the scroll trigger works, right? When you, it's like, so you want your animation only like start to go, like start to proceed when it's like scrolling specific area of your website. So for example, I'm scrolling. Let me see again. So I'm scrolling. And when I scroll to this area, the animation is started. So, and how you can see, like a scroll trigger is a container, and you can just put like the green box, and you just do duration, delay, and X, and so that way, like you can like have a more you can do trigger and animate in the same way, so you don't need to separate that with CSS and stuff. So for example, if I do this, I can scroll again, you'll see animation start going only when I'm scrolling. So as the next one is, let's do, I just wanted to show you like showcase of GCP websites, what you can achieve like in the real world. It's a braid safe website. And they, real quick back, they use like specifically scroll trigger and split text. So this is what you can achieve in the real world with that. This we start to see scroll trigger animation because these things start to only moving when I'm scrolling. The same thing here, we can see it. And here too. So you can see like the text only start to type animation when I scroll that. The same thing this picture as well. So if I go back, yeah. So this is one of the websites I want to show. Real quick, another two websites, because they kind of use a little bit different technology and plugins to achieve different tasks. So this one is scroll trigger, motion pass, and flip. And I think they use it specifically here. So when you do something like that, you can do style in the back. It's a Webflow website, by the way. Then you go to click publish. This won't go long. I believe it's elements in the back. I don't think it's a video because you can interact with them somehow. The same thing here, the scroll trigger is working when I'm scrolling here. Totally when I scroll, it's working only here. The animation goes here on the right. All right, and the last one is a beer. It's a Brews District 24. Do we have this beer here? The IPA, yeah, like the fancy beer. Oh, American blonde. Imperial stout. Ooh. Oh, this one, Imperial stout, is a kind of really hard one. It's 10%. Ooh. Ah, storage. Oh, yeah, that's so nice. Yeah, they like make it like I think it's a good beer, but they have a pretty fancy website. All right. So, and the last stuff is a license of GCP. So the license is tricky. So GCP is not really fully free JavaScript library. You have GCP core and tools, and 8 plugins is free. The other ones, 12 plugins, you need to pay for it. And you have like a commercial license, but commercial license is tricky. That's the reason why I want to bring it up. The commercial license is only like if you have a subscription, something like that, like Netflix, or you have a like specific microtransaction, like a game, then you have to have a commercial license. If you like have a marketing or advertisement or e-commerce store, you don't have to have a commercial license. You cannot just use it. It's totally fine. And real quick, like the other plugins here, someone I really impossible, I would say, do is a physics 2D and a draw SVG. So probably will be real hard to do for yourself, but you need to pay for it. That's the reason why I don't have a paid version, so I can really show you that. And yeah, so we go over it, the other free plugins. And that's it. Like, it's done. Cool. Yes.
If you're a front-end developer and you have clients, do the clients each need their own individual license?
No, they don't have to if the product not it depends what. If you do probably developer work for them with just you pay for the plan, like you have a GCP Plus or something, it doesn't still it's only go from business. So another one, Plus and Club, it doesn't have a commercial license, only business has. So if they don't have to pay unless they have like product like they have a subscription or super microtransactions. Yep.
With the scroll trigger, it was pretty much if it scrolled into view, you had it such that it would move left and right for the 2 blocks. How do you make it such that if it's on scroll down, it does one thing, scroll up, it does another thing? Is that scroll trigger or is that different?
No, it's scroll trigger. Yeah, you can do it. It's just like do a different way a little bit. Scroll trigger is a really big plugin. But you do this with a scroll trigger. Yeah, they have like probably the plugins that have like 100 methods on it. So yeah, you can do a lot of stuff with that. But yeah, you definitely do this with scroll trigger. Yes.
With a library that's been around for so long, like predating some of the more like modern framework tools, like React and Vue and stuff, are there any concerns with like integrations in that realm?
They support React. They have like package for React. Actually, I can bring it up right now here. They have a usage of it. Let me see right there. I believe it was in the tooling, I believe. If I'll go to installation. Oh, here we go. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so they do have a definitely this React. I'm not sure about Vue and Angular. I don't really know about that, but they definitely support React. Yeah. So I don't really know about Vue and Angular, but React they support. Yes. Yes.
In the quick demos as you ran through, I didn't see anything that really you couldn't do strictly. So what is the advantage?
The advantage of it? Well, because if you will do like in a regular JavaScript, the demos I show is really basic and simple. But if you will do like the animation like that, if you have here with 3.js and stuff, for example, or you have like something on top like they do with WebGL, if you'll do like definitely with JavaScript itself, you will probably face frame rate issues because technically JavaScript is slower than animation CSS. So you need to be careful because it can be like frame rate up. I think this was biggest advantage of that. And another thing is the plugins, because just to implement some plugins, it just will take a lot of time to do from scratch. So this is a problem. But yeah, you technically can do from technical JavaScript, but it's just how complex your animation needs to be. Yeah, everything will built on top of JavaScript. Yeah. Yes.
So as far as the free tier
Mhm.
plugin, the tool, does that limit you to what creating your own plugins and strictly working in the free tier, or are there certain cases where you'll run into a licensing issue if you're trying to go completely free?
even if it means building more of your own plugs and things like that? Is there going to be a certain point where there's certain things you can't do on the free level, even if you did everything on your own, as far as implementing plugins that are missing and you don't get up the other tiers?
It's a good question. I think they like plugins. Even with the name, it's like super straightforward what you will work with. So I would say the only wall you will probably fix is the plugins. So I would say like if you just need to do research with the plugins, for example, it will be probably hard to implement, for example, something with physics from scratch. So I would say like, and even you have animation, have a library which handles the physics, right? But you need to do on top animation with that. So try to integrate that together will be probably really difficult. Yeah, because it's not like, depends what you try to do, but I would say a lot of general cases the free tier will cover, or probably I would say 90%. I would say maybe like what will not cover if you need like some sort of gaming, I guess, which is required, maybe physics animations. I would say which requires physics animation. I would say you have to pay for it. I would believe, yeah.